Hi everyone, welcome to our tour of Manchester. We're starting here in Castlefields, which is actually probably the oldest part of Manchester. It was built as a Roman fort in 79 AD. What you can see behind me is a reconstruction of what the Roman fort might have looked like from the outside. And over here we have ruins of the old fort, the Roman fort that Manchester used to be. Ruins, so yeah, it's just ruins. Even though Manchester has been settled since the Roman times, it didn't become a very big city until the Industrial Revolution. And at that point, some people argue it became the first industrialized city in the world. This area of Castlefield has a lot of canals, and these canals used to sustain the intense economic activity. You can see them right behind me. This is Liverpool Road Station. It dates from 1830 and is one of the oldest passenger rail stations in the world. It links Manchester and Liverpool, and that was a really important thing here because it transported all the raw cotton that get transformed into fabric in Manchester. Nowadays, the train station has been transformed into a museum, and if you visit, you can see the actual cotton mill machines working live. It's really worth a visit. This is the John Rylands Library. It's named after one of the cotton magnates that made his fortune in the industry in and around Manchester. However, he's not the one who built this library. His wife, Enriqueta Ryland, did after she inherited his fortune upon his death. The idea behind the library was to improve the lives of the thousands of slum dwellers that lived around this area of Manchester called spinning fields. It was the hope that this way they could get educated and improve their living conditions. We're now in Albert Square, and this is Manchester's town hall. At the moment, it's being renovated, but most of the time it's actually being used to represent Big Ben or other London monuments in movies. I guess we'll have to come back another time. We're now in St. Peter's Square. This is the Manchester Central Library. It also happens that this is one of the locations for one of the most significant political events in the history of the UK. As the Industrial Revolution got going, the government of the UK changed very little, and that left Manchester without any representation in Parliament, even though it had quickly become a very large urban centre. The population revolted, and eventually a crowd of 60,000 people convened here in St. Peter's Square. The government militia cracked down quite severely and killed 18 people, injuring hundreds of others. This happened in 1819 and is known as the Peterloo Massacre. Results of the protests didn't come very quickly, but finally in 1850, the parliament was completely changed. Manchester was given its official status as a city and given its first members of parliament. We're now in Manchester Chinatown. The arch behind me was built around the 1980s, following about a century of Chinese immigration, and nowadays you can find lots of Chinese restaurants, supermarkets, and other venues around here.
We got Chinese snacks, yay! Ooh, what is it?
It's a pork bun.
Pork bun? Is it sweet or savory?
I'm not sure. This is Piccadilly Gardens. It's now become sort of center of the city. As you can see, a lot of people convene here and go to restaurants, bars, especially when it's not the pandemic. Originally, the northern quarter was a part of the village of Manchester during the Middle Ages. Like the rest of the city, it didn't really develop until the Industrial Revolution. And at that point, the northern quarter, just like the rest of Manchester, became home to a big number of cotton mills. In its peak, Manchester had up to and over 100 mills working at the same time. Time went on, and eventually, after the First World War, the area started a period of decline as the industry left the city. This continued until about the 1970s, when it became trendy again to move back into the city, and the northern quarter once again became a residential area. After some time, it was given its name. It wasn't called Northern Quarter until 1990, and it's now a very trendy area, as you can see behind me. It has lots of trendy bars and cafes, lots of hipster culture, independent record labels, and also some of the city's liveliest music venues. In case you're wondering, bees are a symbol of Manchester, and that's why you can see them all over the place. It represents the thousands of working people that are at the core of Manchester's history. This is Salford Quays. In the late 19th century, the Manchester traders of cotton and other goods got really tired of paying the harbour masters in Liverpool to unload all their goods near the sea. And so they decided to bypass them completely and build a ship canal directly from the estuary of the Mersey to here in Salford. Half a dozen docks were built, and they could accommodate the biggest ships transporting cotton directly from America. For 100 years, the docks were successful in bypassing Liverpool and reducing the cost of transporting cotton to Manchester, where it could be processed. However, in the 1980s, containerization happened and the ships became too big to fit inside of Salford Quays, and therefore the area was abandoned. This here is the famous Manchester United Stadium, which is known throughout the whole world. When you're a student here, you can easily get discounted tickets to go to a game. I've been once. It's a really great atmosphere. Land was abandoned, Salford City Council decided to buy the whole area and develop it. Now there's a lot of residential towers and also some commercial developments. There's also a lot of people skating today. This area is called Media City, and the BBC, ITV and other TV studios are installed here. People like the mayor are really happy about how Salford Quays is developing. Salford isn't exactly the richest city in the UK, but right now, young professionals will pay the highest rents just to live here. Salford Quays and Media City are trying to position themselves as the hub for media in the UK outside of London.
Are there secrets you're not telling us about Salford Quays?
Oh yes, well, they're secrets, right?
Nobody really follows those rules in the summer.
So tell us, what do you think is the prettiest area in Manchester? Write us a note in the comments.
Somebody's more of a pro than we are. We don't have a drone.
Some people say this area looks a bit like Amsterdam. I can spot a few differences, but it's definitely one of the nicest places in Manchester. experience or tour in Manchester. Thanks so much for watching, and we hope to see you here soon. See you somewhere in Europe.